Hi, I'm Kim Coco, author of the book It Just Makes Sense: 7 Principles for a Joyful and Stress-Free Life. Today I'm going to talk about how to find balance in your life without changing your schedule. Now at first you might think, how is that possible? Well, let's backtrack by saying, what is balance? We have physical balance in our body where you walk down the street, let's say a heel breaks, you can kind of catch yourself and find balance again, that equanimity, that even playing field for the body. Or you might walk down the street, you might accidentally trip on a crack in the sidewalk, momentarily lose your balance, and then have to regain it. But thanks to your body's natural ability to find gravity or work against gravity, you can stay upright a lot of the time. Similar, if you actually decided to test your balance, you could get onto a tightrope. And we used to have a slack line in my backyard growing up. And if you don't know what a slack line is, I highly recommend checking it out. Dean Potter is one of the best out there. Okay, so slack lining, we tie a rope. It's actually a 2-inch piece of cord, I guess. I don't know how to describe it exactly. And you actually hop on. And you try to walk yourself across nice and carefully. And you see yourself sway back and forth, and you can work your way to get better balance and stay upright. That requires a little more practice. But just as you are walking down the street and lose your balance and find it again, your body has become accustomed to standing upright and understanding what it takes to keep yourself walking smoothly, or keep yourself up so you're not down on the ground. That's just years and years of walking. Now, just like we have balance in our physical body, we need to have balance in our mental body, in our emotional body, in our social time. But instead of going into all these aspects, which can seem very tedious, we're going to talk about finding balance using 3 general areas of your life. And it's finding balance with your energy. Steve talked about earlier, we have an energy bank account. And the more activities and relationships and circumstances that make us feel good boost our energy. And the more circumstances and people and situations that make us feel bad drain our energy. So positive and negative emotions play a role here in how we stay balanced. The goal here is to find balance in that subtle energy side. And we're going to start by looking at the more gross aspects of your life, which are the 3 spheres. So let's consider this. You have about 3 basic spheres of your life. Your business sphere. It's the time you spend working, going to school, balancing your checkbook, managing your finances, making sure your car has fuel in it, making sure you have dinner on the table, making sure all of these things run in your business life, the logistical things that have to happen, even cleaning your house counts. You have your personal sphere. Now that's the time that you spend that brings you joy with family members. It can be with relationships, social engagements, activities, churches, whatever fuels that personal side of your life. And I should say, it's designed to bring you joy, although I'm sure you can imagine there are people or circumstances in your personal sphere that might irritate you. But the goal is to get away from the irritating back to the positive, and we'll talk about that later on. But for now, the personal side is away from your business side that you use to relax, to take it easy, to try to find that enjoyment, and to build the relationships that are meaningful in your life. And then the 3rd sphere is your spiritual sphere. And apart from the personal sphere where you want to take time to relax, the spiritual sphere is taking time to reflect on the values that you have, the values that affect the choices you make in other areas of your life. It's connecting with God or a divine power or a guardian angel. It's connecting with something bigger than you. And again, that can be with a church, it can be out in nature, it can be whatever rituals that you have for you that make you feel connected to something bigger than you. And in that, you might have other relationships, like a mentor or a teacher, someone that helps guide you through that spiritual process. After all, we're spiritual beings living the human experience. So what are you doing to nurture the spiritual aspects of yourself, the non-physical side, but yet the side that helps give you the life and the energy and the exuberance to do the other two spheres, the personal and the business sphere? So now, we're talking about finding balance in your life, finding energetic balance through the business, the personal, and the spiritual spheres without changing your schedule. We're going to do it this way. See if you can look at your daily routine. See if you can check in and notice which activities bring you joy, which relationships, which things you have to do make you feel happy, excited, appreciative, and which activities might be causing you some stress. The tool of awareness can be used very powerfully without making any changes. And then just by using that awareness, you are already starting to make some changes, even though you haven't done anything to your schedule yet. Secondly, once you have an idea what activities are bringing you joy and which activities aren't, or which activities might be causing you stress or relationships, then you can say, or actually, let's backtrack. Maybe some spheres are pretty minimal. Maybe you work all the time and your personal sphere is not very big. Or maybe you have a balance between your work and your personal life, but you haven't evolved your spiritual self very much. Checking in with awareness lets you know where you are. You might be leaning over to one side, and if you imagined yourself on a tightrope, it would almost be to the point where you're going to fall. Now, taking the tool of awareness starts to bring you back upright. And you can even take it a step further. You can find actions already in your daily schedule to change your perspective. Let's say you have to be at work at 8. And you get up at 6, you do whatever it is you do in the morning to stretch or eat or think or process or commute. You can keep that same schedule, and maybe instead of spending 20 minutes in the shower thinking about all the things you've got to do today, maybe you sit for 5 minutes and set an alarm clock and tune into the spiritual side before you take your maybe 15-minute shower. Or if you're commuting to work and you know you have an hour's transit, maybe you listen to a tape that's uplifting or listen to a speaker. I love TED Talks for that reason. You get to learn something, or you find something motivational or inspirational. And you haven't changed your schedule, you're just changing the content in those time frames. Maybe it's at work and you get your hour lunch break. And now you're going to enjoy eating your food, socializing if you choose, and then maybe you take a few minutes in that lunch break to take a walk, reset yourself, take some deep breaths, regain some energy, which will help you move into the latter part of your day with a little more zest or a little more zip. And you haven't really changed your schedule, but you're just amping up your energy along the way. And when you do that, it helps take you where you might be out of balance or, just kind of out of whack in some way, shape, or form, back into a way where you feel like you're upright and confident and balanced, finding that equanimity that works for you. So, take a moment. Notice what's going on in the 3 spheres of your life. Where do you have some balance? Where do you have some imbalance? And don't think of imbalance as bad. In fact, it's really just a lesson. It's now an opportunity to make a new choice. What can I do next that might bring me back into some harmony? And you don't really have to adjust your whole schedule and book hours of meditation or self-help groups or ditch your friends totally that cause you stress. Maybe it's just incorporating a few different techniques to boost your energy along the way so that you feel more in line, you feel more harmonious, and you feel more joy along the way. So check it out, see how you're doing in your 3 spheres, and enjoy finding some balance without changing your schedule.